but world-class drivers, Team Hot Wheels. This organization has been operating in secret for the last 43 years, and today, as part of the 100th anniversary of the Indy 500, they're going to perform a world record test in public for the first time ever. Jay Akerson is the facility media liaison and communications manager. Jay, why are you going public today?
Well, there have been stories and rumors of the test facility for 43 years, and we felt it was time to set the record straight. So today is a historic day for motorsports. The facility wanted to celebrate and be a part of it.
So what are we going to see?
Hot Wheels for real. Firstly, we'll show you an almost catastrophic test of a world record jump that we're going to perform later today. Secondly, a crazy 10,000-foot descent from our facility in Brazil. We then attempt to prove an Indy car can drive upside down. And lastly, a world record jump on this track you see right behind us.
Unbelievable. So when do we start?
Well, first, let's take a look at the history of the facility where this all started.
An underground network of car specialists has been secretly pushing the envelope of auto engineering for 43 years. Their goal, explore the future of vehicular mobility regardless of risk. The 1960s gave visionary innovators permission to reach for the unreachable. In the heavily regulated world of car design, there was little room for new ideas. A looming oil crisis and new safety restrictions sent innovation into the mudflats. With this climate as a backdrop, a group of mavericks saw there was another way. In 1967, those same mavericks flew from Detroit to an abandoned factory in the California desert to build and test prototypes of the world's most advanced vehicles.
What's your relationship to the testing facility?
I'm Charlie Penn. I was the head engineer at the facility from when it opened in 1968 until mid-80s, 1984 to be exact. Oh, man, it was an amazing place to be. You had the best drivers, the best vehicles, and the best engineers in the world all in one place. You know, you go push some limits.
One of our guys went home, saw his kid playing with a car on a stool. Naturally, working at this facility, you'd think, let's test this for real. I'm Steve Garrett. I was the structural engineer of the stool project, 1997-2003. In a project like this, doing the things that we do, pushing the envelope, being on the edge, everybody knows that something could happen. Everybody knows there's an element of danger.
The test facility was all experimental. He held back nothing, you know, and everything was accepted. The only way to really find out, you know, where the total limits are is to get almost crazy. Do things that you think are almost technically impossible. That's what we needed, and that's what was developed. And that was the beginning of a whole new era.
We were working off the grid. We did whatever we dreamed of. That kind of free thinking led to a very freewheeling environment, to say the least. And out of that came cars and engines and tests that, looking back, are quite unbelievable.
I'm a stuntman. I'm a professional motorsports driver, motorcycle tester, automobile test driver. I've probably tested everything that there is to test. One of my Pikes Peak races, I was at the top of the mountain and somebody came up and asked me about working in the facility and being a Team Hot Wheels driver and tester. In the moment of just finishing a race, I had a lot of adrenaline and I wasn't 100% sure whether this was true or not, but I went back down to the bottom of the hill, threw my boots in my bag, and there was a business card in there with the phone number on it. And that's when I realized that this is a real deal. Ultimately, I was recruited for the green team, which was about speed. I mean, that was our thing, was to go test, you know, new engines, different kinds of fuel mixtures, jet propulsion, anything that you could think of that was about making a car or a vehicle go really fast. Then you got the red team. I mean, they might not have been the best drivers, but they were the biggest risk takers, and they were fearless. Blue is precision. These guys were like robots. I mean, they were perfect. You know, they did the real hairy, knife-edge kind of stuff. There was no margin for error for those guys. It was 1 millimeter made all the difference. The yellow guys, they were a wild bunch. To watch those guys do what they do in the air, it's like ballet.
There's a lot that goes into being part of the Hot Wheels. There's some decisions that you make that no racer would normally dive into. To jump the trucks and do the off-roading on the yellow team, it's actually really calculated and technical. And when it goes wrong huge. So you have to be the most analytical, I think, on the yellow team.
The reward that you derive from this, the satisfaction, totally outweighs the risk. Because the risk is calculated. I mean, all the things that we even do at a test facility, yes, we don't know what's going to happen on the other side. But you know something? You feel confident there's a lot of engineering that's gone into it. You know, we're crazy, but not that crazy. You know, we're smart crazy.
The worst crash I ever had, I can't tell you a lot about because I don't remember a lot of it, which obviously is probably why it's my worst crash. But we were testing out some new track materials, and ultimately I ended up just getting the corner wrong. Came off a little too fast, spanked the connector, piece of the track, orange track obviously, came off, ended up hitting me in the head, knocking me out for about 4 days. Ended up actually, my good luck charm, been carrying this around for a while. That was a piece of the connector bolt that ended up in my back.
I used to patch them up with steel pins, metal plates. I even pulled orange track out of drivers. I mean, I got the x-rays to prove it. Colleagues, they wouldn't believe what I was doing out here, and then they started asking questions I really couldn't answer. I had to be careful about what you said.
As secret as the facility was, some work was drawing the attention of the outside world.
I was exploring the distribution of uranium through different markets throughout the world. The trail eventually led me to the Hot Wheels test facility. They were looking at different fuel sources, and one of those was nuclear energy. I believe the engines were essentially mini reactors. I mean, I'm not sure how far they got because it's very difficult to get too much information out of the facility.
Sooner or later, it had to come out, and I think the time is now. I'm proud of all of that because, again, so much had been going on for so many years, and now all of a sudden, at least, you know, the world now is going to know.
Now that the Hot Wheels test facility is working out in the open, what does the future hold? The most exciting years of the Hot Wheels test facility may well be the ones we're living in right now.
Everybody thinks they're on the cutting edge. When you come to this facility, this is the cutting edge.
Coming up, testing for the world record jump almost leads to disaster.